What is up, YouTube? We're finally back outside. Weather is finally looking nice. But a couple days ago was my birthday, and I wanted to give out 19 lessons I've learned in these 19 years. Obviously, not every single year has been a lesson, but I felt like it was a cool thing to do. My coach did that one day, and kind of was inspired. But the main topic, the main things, I feel like it's not just gonna be about money. Not gonna be about, not even like always about God. It's just what I've learned. And I wrote it down because I had it on a doc, but I was like, I'm not going to keep switching back and forth. And no way I can remember 19 lessons. So, number one, and most importantly, I know I said it wasn't going to be all about God, but God is first. Luckily, I was able to learn this at a very young age being 18, 17 years old, where I started finally surrendering my life to God and truly stepping into being more like Him. There's a bunch of tadpoles down there. It's pretty cute. Pretty cool. But yeah, God first. And a lot of people, they have, it's kind of tough for them to be with God or surrender or even believe that there is a God out there. But if you are someone who does believe in God but just hasn't taken that, rich step to fully surrender, begin to ask some questions, when you're on your own. Or if you don't have that constant peace within yourself. I'm not saying constant, but if you don't even felt what peace or love truly is, or you feel like there's no one to talk to, God is always there for you, and He's got you here today. So what makes you think He's gonna fail tomorrow? You can't run away from Him. I feel like putting God first in your life is gonna help you, and this will help me find my purpose, find what I need to do, and ultimately live a life I like to live. Hopefully this isn't too annoying. But yeah, number one. Number two, the people you surround yourself is who you become. Now, I'm a little story time because I'm honest with you guys, I was never like that type of kid to be smoking, to be drinking, or I did go to a couple like parties, quote unquote. There were quinces, if you know what that is. It's like a birthday party, and all I would do was dance. But like it was still in like that, quote unquote secular environment where a bunch of drugs, a bunch of alcohol was being around, and I was surrounded by a lot of my friends who drank alcohol and who, eventually if I continued to stay with them, then I probably would have became like them. And I'm glad I was able to veer away from that. I'm glad God was able to take me away and find me a group who actually helps me, who represents, who dignifies who I am. But yeah, I feel like that was I feel like that's a really important lesson, but I'm sure you guys all heard of it a million times. How you doing?
What's up, bro? That looks so cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, as I was saying, my third one, love and attachment are two different things. And I think I'm glad I was able to learn this, at least recently, that I used to believe being able to attach yourself to someone is what love meant, and I learned that it's not. I learned that it eventually just, one, drains the other person, like I said, and it honestly leads you to take bad decisions, or it leads you to be more selfish rather than selfish. You want something from them. You're trying to take from them, and you're trying to get something out of them. And it doesn't have to be a relationship. It can be friendships. It can be with your parents. Any relationship, I guess. But what I meant was like it doesn't have to be boy and girl. But getting too attached to someone isn't love. Getting attached to a thing isn't loving it. It's kind of like it's not. You're trying to be possessive. You're trying to control. You're trying to predict. And I don't know if you guys heard this before, but I've talked about the ego before, and that's what the ego loves. It loves to try to control. It loves to try to predict, and it loves to take. But loving someone truly is just loving them for who they are, and no matter what, it's unconditional. There isn't. Well, if you're with me, then I love you. But if you're not, then I don't love you. I'm like, no, I was able to learn to love everyone around me, regarding what they've done, regarding how I feel about them, regarding past experiences. I'm able to let go. They can live the life they want to live, and I'll still show them love. This analogy I let my coach / friend, honestly, gave me was, there's a pretty flower outside in a garden, right? You can even, I don't know if you guys hear this waterfall, but it's the most beautiful sounding waterfall I've heard in a minute. But there's a flower out in the garden, and beautiful, beautiful flower. And you can love it, you can water it, you can give it sunlight, etc. But once you take that flower out of its roots, it dies, right? And that's you trying to control it. That's you attaching yourself to it. But if you're still able to love that flower, water it, give it sunshine, and show it love, metaphorically, you're still able to enjoy life, and you still get to enjoy the flower. And you're not attaching yourself to it, and eventually a flower will come to you, if you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm happy I was able to learn that. Honestly, one of my biggest lessons. But yeah, do your best in everything you do. Now, I love this one, because when I'm in the gym and I remind myself I gotta do my best, I get those extra sets. When I'm doing work and I'm like, man, I don't want to record this video, I record that video. And I think it all falls through. I think it all lines up with who I am. It all lines up with my morals. I live by 4 principles. I might say it down. I like these principles. I was actually taught this by a friend, and it was a book, the 4 promises. Don't judge, don't assume, don't take things personally, speak with integrity, and always try your best. Don't judge and assume are tied together, if you were wondering. And yeah, I love that. Doing your best at everything you do. I feel like it's always a cool thing and a good thing to do. Now, another thing, number 6, all right, I can't talk. Respond, don't react. A lot of people like to react to things, if something pisses you off, something triggers you, people with the initial negative emotion, negative charge, throw it at them or throws it at that thing. And honestly, the more hatred, the more negativity you have within you, just the less you're able to give out. You're not able to feel that love and peace within you. So stop reacting and respond. Responding means you get to take the time back, or maybe you don't even react at all. Maybe you just sit there and just let them be. Let's say someone's just cussing you out because of some stupid thing. Most people react by showing anger again or fighting back. When in reality, you really could just let go, or you could just let him be. Understand that they're probably going through something that you don't understand. So respond. Be like, hope you're all right. God bless. May Jesus save you. Whatever you want to do. There was one time this guy was getting mad at me. I forgot why. But we're just walking. I was walking around. I think I was at the mall, and he just started yelling. He was just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "May God save you." And I just walked away laughing. Hopefully that was funny here too. Yeah, number 7, ask questions. Be curious. I like this because a lot of people, they take information, even from this video. I'm not saying you have to believe everything as true. All these lessons don't have to apply to you. But ask questions. Be curious. Don't be afraid to ask someone a rhetorical question or something that's you might think is dumb, or just even ask questions in general to, ChatGPT or Google. Like, how does this work? Or I don't know. I feel like being able to ask questions is what helps you get more answers. And if you're stuck, then start asking questions. Ask God, what do you want me to do in my life? What's my purpose? And He'll show you. So ask questions and be curious. I don't think there's a limit to that. Of course, if you see a dark alley and there's a bunch of blood all over the walls, I wouldn't recommend you be that curious, but take it how you want it. Number 8, read books. This is pretty self-explanatory. All this information I'm saying throughout my videos, throughout everything, has come from either my coaches, which came from books, or from just directly from books. Reading books has changed my life, I will admit. A couple books I recommend is Letting Go by David Hawkins. Hopefully you guys caught that. A bunch of his books are good. Neville Goddard, I'm starting to get into. There's also Dr. Joe Dispenza. Bunch of those books, self-improvement books, spirituality books. I like those type of books. But even just reading in general, I feel like it allows you to open your mind to more creative thoughts, creative ways of living life, I'm sure I read a book before, not many, at least before this time period. I'm sure it's opened my mind to maybe imagine cooler and better things of how life could work, So, read books. Open up your mind. Open up that creative mechanism inside of you, and be open to what's to come. yeah, I like reading books, and of course you get information. Of course it could change your life, but it's all up to you. Now, number 9, these two tie together. Always be grateful and do your best to stay present. You see, a lot of us, we tend to be unconscious throughout the day, you know, whether you're driving, whether you're just going on your phone, watching TV. A lot of us go unconscious, and we don't realize it, obviously, because we're unconscious. But staying present and staying aware and staying grateful allows you to feel those thoughts, you know, like literally all we have is right now, you know, and in 30 minutes I can get shot, God forbid, and I don't know what's going to happen, you know. But it's being able to stay present and staying grateful for what you have now. It allows you to just sort of realize that, you know, you have everything you need now. Everything you want is within you. So don't be so afraid, you know. I like to think of it like that. Be grateful. It obviously raises your state, raises your frequency, if you want to say that. And staying present allows you to focus on what you have to do now. There's not much to worry about. Number 10, buy what you want and don't look back. This has helped me tremendously. You know, I've always tried to embrace that I am an abundant person, that I am successful, that money comes to me, money comes and goes. The relationship with me and money is perfect, you know? And there are times where I look at a price tag and I'm like, oof, I don't want to buy that. Or maybe I'm like, should I buy it? You know, I'm sure all of you guys experience the same thing. But one thing that one of my coaches said, which always stuck with me, is buy what you want, just don't look back. If you want that piece of clothing, get it. Enjoy it. Rejoice. Be happy and be grateful you're able to afford it. You know, what most people fail to do is actually enjoy what they buy. They're more like, man, I just spent $30 on this beanie, or I just spent $30 on this shirt. Was it really worth it? When instead, they should be grateful that they even had $30 to spend on a shirt. You know, it's a whole different perspective and a whole different bunch of energy. And I don't want to get too spiritual here, but the higher your frequency, the higher emotions, the more higher emotions you have inside of you, the better you would subtract in your life, the more money you can bring in. And buying what you want and actually truly enjoying it and not regretting it. You know, of course, there will be some purchases you kind of regret, but just looking at it as a way to further, how do I put it? Further reinforce who you're trying to become or who you are. Whether it's someone who's abundant and can spend money whenever he wants, someone who's just loves clothes, or someone who wants to buy this app. I don't know, whatever you want to buy. And I think that's very important. Buy what you want and don't look back. And honestly, like people will be like, well, what if I spend too much? Well, did you want it? Yeah. Okay, then what does it matter? You know, like the money comes and goes. That's something my good friend of mine taught me, which I'm very, very appreciative of. Number 11, treat others the way you want to be treated. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 12, don't get mad at the people who care about you, who are trying to help you, who are trying to give you advice, right? Prime example, my parents. When I was first doing this entrepreneur stuff, oh my goodness, were they against this stuff. Am I sideways? Hopefully I'm not. Like sideways, mean to the side, but they're always, they always told me, like, David, at least my dad, he was always like, David, at least go to community college, at least go to college, be better than me, right? And when I first heard those stuff, I would get pissed off. Like, I would get really, really mad because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to find a way to live luxury and, you know, all those stuff. But of course, deep down, I knew he genuinely cared about me, my dad, and obviously a lot of like my family members as well. They were like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." You know, my grandma a couple of times, she's like, "Did you quit yet?" I'm like, "All right, bro." I mean, they just genuinely care about you. You know, I feel like that's something you and even me sometimes need to accept or need to realize or need to understand that when they try giving you advice or when they're trying to help you out and tell you to do something that you don't want to do, just be grateful that they're there for you. You know, and just you can reaffirm them, reassure them that no matter what, you're gonna be a-okay, and you don't gotta worry. They don't gotta worry. You know, and if they continue, it's an illusion of how they feel about themselves inside. That's another lesson, another sneak lesson. whenever someone puts pressure on you, whether it's about money, whether it's about your future, whether it's about anything in life, like it can be a relationship as well, it's an illusion of how they feel about themselves inside. For instance, if someone's like, what are you going to do about money? Oh, you're broke. Oh, how are you going to do this? Da 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 da. In reality, they're just projecting of how they feel about themselves inside. So it's an illusion. Don't fall for it. And it's a very, very easy thing to fall for because I, was one to fall for it. And I'm glad I was able to learn that as well. That what people put onto you, whether it's any negativity, it's just a projection of how they feel about inside. So that's also ties into how you respond instead of reacting. Understanding that most people just project how they feel about themselves to you. Now, with that being said, this is I'm taking a little detour right now. Sometimes people will reflect how you feel about yourself inside by what they say to you. And where you can feel it, way you can understand that, or where you can sort of understand what the difference is. Let's say someone does call you broke and you react horribly. You're like, man, F you, I'm not broke, da 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 da. Clearly, that's how you feel about yourself inside. I'll give you an example this weekend. I mean, I call my dad out all the time, but I know the guy loves me, and I love him too. But he was talking to my uncle, and he was like, yeah, man, he's broke, he has no money, speaking about me. And since I truly believe that I'm successful, wealthy, abundant, it went in one ear and out the other. I didn't realize it until a couple minutes later, and I was like, well, I just don't want, I kind of like explained myself that I just didn't want to spend money, But I was glad I was able to just not react to it and sort of move that it just went in one ear and out the other. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, I am successful, I am abundant, I'm not broke. And even though when I look at my bank account, it says otherwise, but I'm able to know that I'm not. And isn't life more than just numbers on a screen? But yeah, I like a little detour, a couple lessons. I think that's like 21 now, if I'm correct. Yeah. Number 13, forgive yourself, right? And love yourself. No more red pill. I wanted to get into this pretty quickly, but I'm kind of taking a little while. A lot of red pill, you could say like the motivational people like David Goggins or Andrew Tate, they always say you gotta suffer. You gotta suffer, you gotta go through that pain, which I don't necessarily agree with. People, like David Goggins said that when he woke up in the morning, he looked himself in the mirror and said he hates that MFer. I'm getting better at cursing, that's why. He don't like who he saw in the mirror. And if that works for you, that works for you. But people who doesn't work, that doesn't work. If it doesn't work for you, jeez. Learn to love yourself. Learn to forgive yourself. And do those same actions out of love rather than pain. Do that 3-mile run at 3 in the morning because you love yourself, not because you hate how you look. Eat the right foods because you love yourself, not because you hate the way you see, what you see. Do it out of love. And forgive yourself for indulging into bad things. Forgive yourself into those old things you used to do. Because at the end of the day, it's all part of a plan. Everything happens for a reason. So the fact that you're making a change now shows you that it's happening. But yeah. Next. All right. Number 14. Don't take things personal. Now, someone might run by me, so if I cut off, you understand. It kind of ties in with don't fall for the illusion because a lot of people, project what they feel about themselves inside. Well, yeah, it kind of ties into if you do get that bad reaction, then understand it's just what they're reflecting of how you feel about yourself inside. Oh, he's coming finally. I was like, give me like 2 seconds, please. If you don't mind. Anyways. So yeah, hopefully I can cut that out. But this does tie back to what I was saying about not falling for the illusion that people put onto you about how they feel about themselves inside. I don't know how I didn't stutter there. I think it's all that rapping I be doing. Yeah, and then also, if things do piss you off, take note of it. Why when someone called me broke, did I react that way? Why was that my initial reaction? And then go down that iceberg. Well, is it because I truly believe about that? I truly believe that about myself? Yeah. Well, why do I need money to feel good about myself? Validation. Validation from who? Boom. And is it just an illusion? Yes. 100% of the time. And I want to tell you guys too, another lesson, is that everything you're seeking for externally is found within. I want you guys to remember that. That's honestly, that could be like number 2 about the lessons. Because Christ is also within, so God's within, it's all found within. Number 15, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I know I kind of promote that this life will be all sunshines and rainbows, but there will be times where you have to face those demons, quote unquote, or those times where you have to let go of those old programs of pain and grief and etc. But know that you'll be all right. There's always that God at the end of the tunnel. There's always that peace and love and joy at the end of the tunnel, and just remind yourself that it's a wave. These emotions that you're feeling, these thoughts that you're having, they will go away. Same way you didn't recognize these thoughts, or these thoughts didn't pop up the day before, or however long it was before. Everything will pass. So just have faith and know that God's there. Pray. Sit with yourself. Enjoy it. Even rejoice in your suffering, because you know that at the end of the day, God has you, like He's done a million times already. Hopefully that makes sense. Number 16. Oh, one of my favorites. I think this is kind of what I represent. Dream big dreams. Go for what you want. A lot of people my age are super scared to go for what they want. They're like, oh, but, just go for it. I'll be honest with you guys, like, a lot of my friends, for a little bit, a lot of my friends were looking better than me. I was kind of stuck in this entrepreneur thing, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was stuck. I didn't know if I wanted to coach. I didn't know if I wanted to provide a service. I didn't know anything, and I was scared. I was kind of like worried that I would be left behind. But I feel like the fact that I'm able to even dream big and go for my dreams, some people, I'm not going to call out my friends, but some people in this world will never get as close to me in fulfillment, in peace, in love, and just overall goals in life than I will. Hopefully that made sense. They would just never get as close as me. A lot of people around you are too scared to even go for what they want to go for. So take that. Use that as motivation, if anything. And whatever people try to say to you that, oh, you shouldn't go for that, it's too big, or who are you to even try it? One of my favorite quotes is, what man has done, man can do. So if someone's done what you want to do, then go for it. And if, this is one other thing, if you're going for something that no one else has even been able to achieve, let's say it's like a record breaker, right? Let's say you're a track star and you want to run a sub 900 meter. Don't think that's possible, at least like right now. The fact that someone was able to break that record before, like, go from 9.3 to 9:19 or whatever. I don't know too much about track. I don't know why I picked this. It's just the fact that someone was able to break that record before shows that it's possible to break another record. It's not impossible. That same person that broke that record before probably believed that it wasn't possible until they broke it. So what man has done, man can do. If you're trying to go for a new invention, there's plenty of new inventions out there in this world. You can do the same. If you want to, for instance, if you want to start being a YouTuber, if you want to be able to be an entrepreneur and live that luxurious lifestyle, man has done it. So go for it. Nothing in this world is impossible. Only thing that makes it impossible is this. So clean up your head. Oh yeah, don't judge or assume. I don't know if I said this already. Hopefully I haven't. But there's a Bible verse I like. Hopefully I can put it down this time. But it was, I think Jesus said this, so don't quote me. But he was saying to this person, don't know who it was, don't pick out that speck in someone else's eye when you have a log in your own. And I like that because it's like, don't judge someone on something that you judge yourself already on, or that you lack. If you're like, man, you're so disorganized, and someone goes to your room and you're disorganized, well, come on. There's no need. Focus. It's about worrying about yourself. Stop trying to criticize other people. Stop trying to judge other people, and just focus on yourself. And now, of course, if they come to you and ask for help, then that's a different thing. But don't go out your way spreading that negativity. You know what I mean? Even those people who are trying to help, with that tough love, I don't like it. I truly just feel like it just causes conflict. Like, just be the example, is what I'm trying to say. Same way Jesus was. Same way Jesus was the example of how to be a perfect human. He wasn't telling everyone around him, don't say this, don't do that. He was just the example. So be the example. Now, number 18, invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. Don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money on yourself. If you want to spend money on, like to buy what you want, to make yourself feel better, look better, whatever. Obviously, I'm not trying to say you should buy something to make yourself feel better, because, of course, everything is found within. But if you want to buy yourself an extra piece of food that costs $3 more, then go for it. If you want to get that little sweet, which I don't recommend, but if you want to go for it, then go for it. Just treat yourself, man. You deserve it. You deserve it. And if you're a girl, treat yourself. I'm not saying girl. Treat yourself. Number 19, be careful who you listen to. I like this because, again, back to the whole David Goggins and Andrew Tate and all that red pill culture, they all promote just pain and misery and just a bunch of negative emotions. I feel like if you're able to work with love, and this is my truth, you can shake your truth however you want. You can look at me and say I'm an idiot and go back to living the way that they live. I'm not saying it's wrong. All I'm saying is be curious, like I was saying before, and find out what you want to find out. Everything you hear, everything you listen to, everything you read doesn't have to be fact. Find out. Ask questions. And maybe, people go back on themselves all the time, priests do it, which I don't like calling out, but a lot of pastors, a lot of priests, they say one thing and then a year later they're like, okay, I didn't mean to say that. It should be this instead. So anytime, any place, anywhere, even authors, even people, coaches who are well renowned, people you look up to, people are your idols, whatever. They always go back on themselves. A lot of people, they say one thing but mean the other. So be careful who you listen to, be careful what you pick up, and just believe and pick what is true, so it could serve you, is what I'm trying to say. And everything else will be set in stone. But yeah, that's 19, probably about like 20, 23 in there, but I'm sure you guys won't mind. Yeah, God bless, hope everything's going well. And if you are staying this long, I have a little message for you. I am opening up a community, and it's to help people, I'm assuming like you, hopefully this targeted audience stuff works, but become successful with God, I think that was a big struggle for me before. Was I believed that if I were to get all those worldly things, live in luxury, go for those things, that I couldn't do it with God, because God's life is different, is what I thought. And I want to help people understand that it's not like that, and you can do it with both. You can do it with His power roaring inside of you, and always be fulfilled no matter what you have. So if you are interested in joining, I also of course have one-on-ones. DM me. I will create videos. I'm trying my best to create videos, but I just got my MacBook, so actually I can start recording. So yeah, never mind. There's no excuses. I'm gonna get those videos out. But God bless. I meant to say hit me up on Instagram if you are interested. You know where to find it. I hope. It's going to be in the description. Let me stop being dumb. Bye-bye.